First of all, the disclaimer is that I can still not complete the topic in this webinar. Maybe I'll need 2 more webinars to cover ABG. I will deliberately skip a few things. More importantly, probably this is the first webinar and previous one was the second webinar. I realized when I was preparing it that maybe I should go a little more to the basics and a little more to the step-by-step approach. Last time it was a lot of clinical pearls, but it was kind of randomly assigned. This time we'll do a step-by-step approach to assess an ABG, and previously it was more about oxygenation and ventilation. This time we will cover more of acid-base system. So without wasting any more time, I'll start. Step-by-step analysis is good. Why? Because when you are a beginner, it doesn't let you miss on things, because when you randomly see an ABG, you jump to bicarb itna kam hai, and then you miss out something very subtle which was underlying, which you missed. When you work step by step, you get all the nuances of ABG and you go to a proper justifiable analysis. So this time we are going to do ABG in a step-by-step manner. So whenever you see an ABG, we have done oxygenation ventilation, this time only acid base. So whenever you see an ABG, what is the first thing we will see? The first thing we will see is, step 1 is it acidosis or alkalosis? Acidosis and alkalosis has to be seen only and only from the pH. We all know that the normal pH is 7.35 to 7.45. For the sake of convenience in this talk, we will consider the normal values as pH normal is equal to 7.40, PCO2 normal as 40, and bicarbonate normal as 24. Obviously, they are in a range. pH should be 7.35 to 45, PCO2 should be 35 to 45, and bicarb should be 22 to 26. But for the sake of calculations, we'll take 7.40, 40, and 24 as our values. So let's start. This is an ABG. This time also the presentation will be entirely interactive. This time we have included even polls in Zoom. So you will get a poll in Zoom and you'll have to answer the questions. Obviously they will be anonymous, so nobody will know who answered what. But let's try all to sort these questions together so that we can all learn a few things. So let's see. This is a ABG with a pH of 7.32, a bicarb of 20, and a PCO2 of 40. Let's say what values are normal and what values are abnormal. pH should have been 7.40, it is 7.32, it is abnormal. It is less than 7.40, so it is acidotic. Bicarbonate, it had to be 22 to 26, let's forget it. It had to be 24, it is 20, so it is abnormal and on the acidotic side. PCO2 is bang on 40, which is normal. So first, whenever we see an ABG, we'll see these three values, pH, bicarbonate, and PCO2, and first we'll judge if the values are in normal range or not. Is the pH acidemic or alkalemic? So just to start the gears, I'm posting a poll on Zoom, launch the poll, and you'll all just see, and all you have to answer is if the pH is acidotic or alkalotic. There will be questions in front of you. Please answer these questions on the poll which is visible in Zoom. The first question, pH is equals to 7.48. Is it on the higher side? Is it on the lower side? Is it acidemic? Is it alkalemic? Please answer. MC. Yeah. Somebody has said, please sort this poll so that we can move further. Only one person has voted out of 32 joined. Please vote. Polling is closed. Why closed? Relaunch polling. Again. Out of 32, only one person had voted. Please vote again, because the talk won't go further unless we all participate in the system. I don't know who is voting as what. I'm only getting a percentage of people. If there is a problem, then you can write in chat, but I guess polling is working. Even I can poll, I can vote. Yes, two people, two people. More votes needed to go further. More. Three people. Three of 33, only 9% have voted. Four. More. I'll wait for 20 minutes unless at least 20 people vote. All we have to see is if the pH is more than 7.4, so is it alkalotic? Is it less than 7.4, so it is acidotic. Alkalotic, acidotic, alkalotic, acidotic, 7.4 से कम, 7.4 से ज़्यादा. 7 votes, more. See, the webinar is stuck at the poll. Unless until 20 people vote, I won't go further. 7.4 से ज़्यादा alkalotic, 7.4 से कम acidotic. 12. I'll wait till 20. We have to see if the pH is acidotic or alkalotic. (13) 14. 30 seconds to go. 15. अभी इसका प्रैक्टिस कर लो. इसमें 6 पोल हैं. 2 घंटे चलेगी वेबिनार नहीं तो. 16. See, unless until we participate, unless until we actually start analyzing ourselves, it will be more of a monologue from my side, which nobody would want. 16. I'll wait till 20. 50% have voted out of 32. You have to judge each ABG on basis, is it alkalotic, is it acidotic? Nothing else I'm asking. 17. (18) 2 more needed to go further. 19. 20. So 20 votes have been cast and people have voted alkalemia, both, none, acidemia. Now we'll see the answers and I'm ending the polling. So first one, first one, 7.48 alkalotic, 7.32 acidosis, 7.30 acidosis, 49 alkalosis, 31 acidosis, 30 acidosis, 48 alkalosis. But the point to be noted here is that the pH is either acidemic or alkalemic, but acidosis and alkalosis go hand in hand together. In all of these ABGs, patients have both acidosis and alkalosis. Just that one of them is primary disorder and other one is compensatory. In all these ABGs, both acidosis and alkalosis are there. Just that one of them is primary disorder and other one is compensatory. Right? So this is our clinical pearl, that acidosis and alkalosis, they both run together always. Just that one of them is the first problem and another one is a secondary problem to compensate. right? Next step, once we have realized that the pH is acidemic or alkalemic, now we have to look for the primary acid-base disorder. What is the primary acid-base disorder? Primary disorder means the thing which started the whole chaos. That means a person was normal, suddenly he stopped breathing. Maybe we gave him a relaxant and could not intubate him for 2-3 minutes. So he will start accumulating CO2. He will start accumulating CO2. He will have a respiratory acidosis. CO2 converts to H2CO3, converts to HCO3. Eventually, H ions will increase and pH will decrease. It will be a respiratory acidosis. So here, the thing which triggered it was respiratory. Similarly, somebody in sepsis can have lactic acidosis. So the primary disorder therein will be metabolic. So we have to see what is the primary disorder. Now, if the CO2 is more than 40, then the primary disorder is acidotic. If bicarbonate is less than 24, the primary disorder is acidotic. If CO2 is less than 35 or less than 40, then it is respiratory alkalosis. If bicarbonate is more than 24, it is metabolic alkalosis. So step 2 is to identify the primary disorder. Again, I am launching a poll, and this time we have to see which disorder is in the direction of pH, and we have to judge which one is the primary disorder. How we do it? If it is CO2, then respiratory, and if it is bicarbonate, then it is metabolic. We see all know. We will use the tic-tac-toe method. We have played. हम उसको zero cross कहते थे. अब पढ़े लिखे लोग उसको tic-tac-toe कहते हैं. So we will use the tic-tac-toe method in which we chart all these things. If the pH is less than 7.4, it is acidemic. If the pH is more than 7.4, it is alkalemic. If CO2 is more than 40, it is acidosis. If CO2 is less than 40, it is alkalosis. If bicarb is less than 24, acidosis. More than 24, alkalosis. Now, we will put our own actual values in this tic-tac-toe, and we'll see which things go along with pH. You're getting me? Let's say our last ABG, we put the data in this tic-tac-toe. The pH is less than 7.4, it is acidotic. PCO2 is normal. Bicarb is less than 24, again it is acidotic. So the thing which is going along with the pH is this bicarb. So the main problem here is metabolic. Same way, we will assess all the 7 ABGs again. We have to see which thing is going along with the pH. Is the CO2 acidotic and pH is acidotic, then respiratory. If bicarb is acidotic and pH is acidotic, then again it is metabolic. So I will launch the poll again. Move a little. Again, I am launching a poll. This time we have to judge which disorder is going along with the pH. I'll do one for you, the 7th one. pH is 7.48, it is alkalotic, right hand side. PCO2 is normal. Bicarb is also alkalotic. So bicarb, that is metabolic component, and pH alkalosis, metabolic alkalosis. So 7th I have solved for you. 1 to 6 you have to solve. As early as I get the results, we'll go further. Please start voting on the poll. Please vote in the poll. There is a poll on your Zoom screens. Please vote there. I'll wait. Is the poll not visible or something? No, the poll is visible to me. It is visible to me. There is not a single vote cast. Again, the question is very simple. We have to see, okay, 3 have voted. We have to see pH is in alkalotic direction. Then which of the two, CO2 or bicarbonate, which is going in the direction of pH? Like sixth one, pH is 7.30. It is acidotic. PCO2 is acidotic. Bicarbonate normal. So respiratory acidosis. This how we'll solve. 5 have voted. I'll need more. More. Again, 20 is the target. First ABG, alkalotic. Which alkalosis? Bicarb is normal, PCO2 is less, respiratory alkalosis. Second ABG, pH is acidotic. Bicarbonate is normal or higher side. PCO2 is acidotic, respiratory acidosis. 8 have voted. 9, 10. 12. More. Question 4. pH is alkalotic, more than 7.4. PCO2 is normal. Bicarbonate is more than 24. Alkalosis. Which alkalosis? Metabolic alkalosis. 12 have voted. Okay, my time is less, so I'll just end the polling. 13 have voted. 14 have voted. 15 have voted. Yeah, it takes time. 7 ABGs, it takes time. 15 of 33, 45% voted. More. So we have to analyze each ABG and we have to see, is the CO2 going in the direction of pH or is the bicarb going in the direction of pH? 1 or 2 are trick questions also. We'll go there. 17 have voted. 50% voting is there. 18. Good. 18. 4 minutes 24 seconds. 19. 20th vote I'll close. I'll move further. Then at 20. 22. Wow. Okay, I'm ending the polling now. Now we'll see the answers. Let's say, first question, pH 7.48, PCO2 less than 40, and bicarbonate is normal. Now, pH and PCO2 are both in the same direction. The primary disorder is respiratory. And what is it? Respiratory alkalosis. Bicarbonate is normal. Even if it was on the lesser side, it would have been respiratory alkalosis. Second question we'll see. pH is less than 7.4, tic-tac-toe method. pH is less than 7.4. Bicarbonate is 25, ये गलत लिखा हुआ है, bicarbonate should have been that side. PCO2 is more than 40, respiratory acidosis. ठीक? Question 3, pH less than 7.4, CO2 normal, bicarbonate acidosis, metabolic acidosis. Right? Again, pH alkalosis, bicarbonate alkalosis, metabolic alkalosis. 7.31 and 15. Metabolic alkalosis. Last two I have already told you directly. So we have to see which of the two components, CO2 or bicarbonate, is going in the direction of pH. If pH is less than 7.4, it is acidosis. If Bicarb is less than 24, it is also acidosis, metabolic acidosis. If pH is less than 7.4 and CO2 is more than 40, respiratory acidosis. So the first primary thing we should know is how to judge the primary disorder and how to know if it is acidemia or alkalemia. Now we'll go another step further. We have seen what is acidemia, alkalemia, 7.4, 7.4. What is the primary disorder, CO2 or bicarbonate. Third thing is the disorder compensated, and also is it acute or chronic disorder in case of a respiratory disorder? Is the disorder compensated? Also, is it acute or chronic? Let's see. What is compensation? Compensation means the process which tries to nullify the primary disorder. Let's say somebody stopped breathing. His CO2 will increase up to 60. Now what will happen? Suddenly the bicarbonate system will start working. The renal system will try to increase the bicarb. Initially the renal system won't work, but yeah, bicarbonate will try to increase. That will be the secondary change, the compensatory change to try to bring the pH towards normal. That is compensation. CO2 increased, it caused acidosis, but the body is obsessed with normal pH. So bicarbonate will also increase to try to bring the pH towards normal. That is compensation. So compensation is the change which tries to nullify the primary disorder. If bicarbonate will increase, CO2 will also increase. If somebody has metabolic alkalosis, the body will try to decrease the respiration so that the CO2 increase can cause the compensatory change in pH. So compensation is the secondary change which occurs to nullify the primary disorder. That is why I said acidosis or alkalosis don't occur separately. If there is acidosis, there will be alkalosis, just that one of them will be primary, another will be compensatory change. Let's go further. Now, a respiratory change is compensated by metabolic and vice versa. But respiratory compensation is very quick, but it is not very efficient. Why? Say, let's inject H2SO4, sulfuric acid, 2 ml in a person's vein. It will be a disaster, but anyway, for the sake of argument, हमने 2 ml H2SO4 blood में डाल दिया. Suddenly the pH goes bonkers. The pH goes very down, very low. What will the body do? Initially the buffers will work, bicarbonate will work, but nothing will work eventually. What will happen? The lungs will immediately start hyperventilating. They will start throwing off CO2 to create a respiratory alkalosis to bring the pH up towards normal. So they will keep washing off CO2 so that the pH can be brought to normal. That is respiratory compensation. It starts very quickly, but it is not very efficient. Why not very efficient? We'll go further. Metabolic compensation is slow to occur, but it is very effective. Let's say somebody stopped breathing. Let's say right now I'm sitting here and I stop breathing. My CO2 increases up to 70. And somehow one of you puts me on ventilator, but he makes sure that I stay on a CO2 of 70 only. So initially my bicarb won't rise much, but if you give me 2-3 days on ventilator keeping a CO2 of 70, my kidneys will start conserving bicarbonate and they will bring back my pH towards normal. That is what exactly happens in the cases of COPD. In COPD, they have chronic respiratory acidosis. What happens is they retain CO2. They have respiratory acidosis, but the kidneys, they conserve bicarb. Their pH is almost normal and their CO2 is high. All those COPD patients we see in ICU or even in ROTs, they are chronic respiratory acidosis which are compensated. So metabolic compensation through the kidneys via bicarbonate is slow to occur, but it is very effective. If you see a metabolic acidosis, the person will be having hyperventilation, but he will still have a very low pH. But if you find a respiratory acidosis, chronic respiratory acidosis, he will be mostly compensated. So if we have to see a respiratory acidosis, is it acute or chronic? How can we see? The first thing we can do is we can ask for the history of patient. If it is a chronic COPD patient, then it could be chronic respiratory acidosis. If he's an acute asthma, status asthmaticus, then he's obviously acute respiratory acidosis. Some foreign body obstruction or some opioid overdose, they are all acute respiratory acidosis. But how to see it in pH, in ABG? So in pH, if the pH is corresponding to the CO2, the disorder is acute. If it is more, then it is chronic. Say, somebody stops breathing, his CO2 increases from 40 to 50 to 60. So the pH should drop to a certain limit. If the pH has dropped that much, then the disorder is acute. If the pH is not showing that big of a change, it is a little more, then it is chronic. I'll go further. The first clinical pearl of this clinical pearls in anesthesia is in acute respiratory acidosis, pH falls by 0.1 for every 10 rise in CO2. Now our normal value of CO2 was how much? 40. So if CO2 increases from 40 to 50, the pH should go from 7.4 to 7.3. If the CO2 rises from 40 to 50 to 60, the pH should fall 0.1, 0.1, 0.2. That should be 7.2. If the CO2 is 70, then the pH should be 7.1, whatever. So if CCO2 is 70, pH should be 7.4 minus 0.3 is equal to 7.1. So this is the first clinical pearl you should note down, or you can take a screenshot, and obviously this recording will be available. In acute respiratory acidosis, the pH falls by 0.1 for every 10 rise in CO2. Secondly, in acute respiratory acidosis, this is the second pearl. In acute respiratory acidosis, bicarbonate rises by 1 for every 10 rise in CO2. Previous one was pH falls by 0.1 and bicarbonate rises by 1 for every 10 rise in CO2. That means, let's say our CO2 was, CO2 rises from 40 to 50. So the bicarbonate will become 24 to 25. If the pH rise, if the PCO2 rises from 40 to 60, bicarb will go up to 26, 24 plus 2. तो CO2 अगर 10-10 बढ़ेगा तो बाइकार्बोनेट 1-1 बढ़ेगा. CO2 अगर 10-10 बढ़ेगा तो pH 0.1 कम होगा. These are the compensatory calculations. So if now we see a ABG, now we can judge. Let's say if CO2 is 70, then the bicarbonate should be 24 plus 3. Why 3? Because CO2 is 40 plus 10 plus 10 plus 10. For every 10 rise, bicarbonate rises by 1. CO2 is 70, so 24 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1, that is 27. So second clinical pearl is for compensation, that is bicarbonate rises by 1 for every 10 rise in CO2. Then you can see in acute respiratory acidosis, the bicarbonate rises is not too much because kidneys are slow to act. That is why the pH will still be low. The compensation will be partial or kind of uncompensated. While in chronic respiratory acidosis, if a person is COPD, if he can hold on to his increased CO2 for a while, then the bicarbonate will start rising by 4 for every 10 rise in CO2. Remember, it was rising by 1 in acute respiratory acidosis, but once the kidneys take over, it will rise by 4 for every 10 rise in CO2. So in a person with COPD, let's say a COPD patient is there and he has a PCO2 of 60. Now his PCO2 is 20 more than what it should be. 40 se 20 jada. So if PCO2 is 20 more, so bicarbonate will rise by 4 plus 4, that is 8. Bicarbonate will be 24 plus 8, that is 32. So in an acute respiratory acidosis with a pH of 60, bicarbonate will be hardly 26. But in a chronic respiratory acidosis, bicarbonate will be 32 for the PCO2 of 60. If CO2 is 70, then the bicarbonate should be 24 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4, well, that is 36. That is in chronic respiratory acidosis. And pH should be Obviously, if bicarbonate is 36, then the pH will not be 7.1 as it was in acute respiratory acidosis. It will be much more than 7.1. It might be 7.28, it might be 7.31, something like that. So, two compensatory things I have told you. One is in acute respiratory acidosis and in chronic respiratory acidosis. So, let's do a poll again. Poll. A single question poll. The pH is 7.31. PCO2 is 60, bicarbonate is 31. Is it acute or chronic? उससे भी पहले फर्स्ट सेकंड स्टेप भी ट्राई कर लेते हैं. pH is 7.31. That means it is less than 7.4. That means it is acidemic. PCO2 is 60. PCO2 is acidotic. That means it is respiratory acidosis. Bicarbonate is towards alkalemic side, so it is secondary or compensatory. Now, is it acute or chronic? Very quickly, 10 people have voted. 14 actually. In 47 seconds, in a minute, 17 people have voted. Wow, wonderful. 19. So can we have a full house of 31? मेरी expectations बढ़ गई. 21. In a single minute. पिछले पोज में 7 क्वेश्चंस थे, इसलिए प्रॉब्लम हो रही. छोटा करो. तो 25 out of 31, 26. अब तो मैं पूरे देख के ही बंद करूंगा. So almost everybody has voted. And out of 26, 27, out of 27, 19 have voted correctly. I'm ending the poll. Closing it. Now let's analyze this ABG. Is it acidemic or alkalemic? Less than 7.4, acidemia. CO2 is more than 40, towards acidosis. Respiratory, acidosis. Bicarbonate is 31, more than 24, alkalotic. So bicarbonate is towards alkalosis. Primary disorder is respiratory acidosis. Now, if CO2 is 60, what should be the pH? CO2 is 20 more than normal. For every 10 rise in CO2, the pH should go down by 0.1. So pH should have gone from 7.4 to 7.38 maybe. 7.4 to 7.2.1. From 7.4 to 7.2, but it is 7.31. So it is more than what is expected. That means something else is going on. Now the bicarbonate in acute incidence should have been, PCO2 is 20 more. So if it was acute, bicarbonate would have been 26. If it is chronic, then bicarbonate would be how much? 4 plus 4, 8. 8 plus 24. 24 plus 8 is equals to 32. This is going more in the direction of chronic. On your screen now, CO2 is 20 more than normal. pH should be 0.2 less, that is 7.4 minus 0.2, 7.2, but it is 7.31, that is chronic. CO2 is 20 more, bicarbonate should be 24 plus 8, that is 32. It is chronic. So this is chronic respiratory acidosis. आगे चलते हैं. So हमने 3 चीजें देखी. We saw acidemia or alkalemia. What is the primary disorder? If it is respiratory, then is it acute or chronic? And how much is the compensation? Next step is, for metabolic acidosis, is the compensation adequate? We saw in respiratory, is the compensation adequate? Now we'll see for metabolic acidosis, that means bicarbonate is less, pH is less. Now we'll see if the compensation is adequate or not. How to check it? Before that, primary metabolic acidosis, respiratory compensation is quick, but never enough. It never fully compensates the pH to normal. Why? Because let's say the pH goes down from 7.4 to 7.2. Now the lungs will start hyperventilating, hyperventilating, hyperventilating. They will wash off CO2, wash off CO2. The CO2 will come down 40, say 30, 30, say 20, 20, say. Can you bring down your CO2 to zero? No, you can't. What is the minimum limit a person can hyperventilate? How much CO2 he can wash out from 40? I have read somewhere 10. The minimum possible PCO2 is 10. You can wash off your CO2 to a certain extent, but after a certain extent there will be some CO2 in blood. You cannot wash off to zero. So respiratory compensation will never be enough to compensate for a primary metabolic acidosis. Now, the third clinical pearl or the thumb rule, this we discussed in the last webinar also. In metabolic acidosis, CO2 should be equal to last 2 digits of pH. If CO2 is equal to last 2 digits of pH, then the compensation is adequate. That means if the pH is 7.28, the CO2 should be 28 or plus minus 1, 2. If the pH is 7.28, then the CO2 should be 28. If it is 28 or nearby 28, then the compensation is adequate. That is one rule of checking the compensation. There is another rule which is called as Winter's formula. It is very, I don't know, it is complicated. This is about expected CO2 in a change of bicarbonate. In acute respiratory acidosis, what we saw was कि अगर CO2 बढ़ गई तो बाइकार्ब कितना होगा. Here we are trying to see कि अगर बाइकार्ब घट गया, metabolic acidosis है, तो CO2 कितनी होगी. Now this is a complicated formula. Let's say कि bicarbonate is 10, तो CO2 should be how much? 10 into 1.5, that is 15. 15 plus 8 is equals to 23. 23 plus minus 2. So if a person is so acidotic to have a bicarbonate of 10, then his CO2 will be approximately how much? 18 or 20. But this is again a little complicated. Let's make it simpler. There is an easier version of this formula. Bicarbonate decreases by 1. If bicarbonate decreases by 1, CO2 should also decrease by 1. That is, if bicarbonate is 15, CO2 should be 40 minus 15. That is 31 क्यों लिखा? CO2 should be 41 minus 15. एक मिनट फिर से सॉल्व करते हैं. Not 41 minus 15. Bicarbonate decreases by 1. CO2 should also decrease by 1. If bicarbonate is 15, then bicarbonate का जो difference है, that means bicarbonate should have been 24. It is 15. That means it is 9 less than its normal value. So CO2 should also be 9 less than its normal value. That's why it comes to 31. Again, let's wash off everything. फिर से सुनते हैं. If bicarbonate is 15, that is 9 less than 24. CO2 should also be 9 less than 40. That is 31. Solve करेंगे एक बार. CO2 changes by 1 for every 1 change in bicarb. यदि बाइकार्ब एक कम होगा तो CO2 भी एक कम होगी अपनी अपनी नॉर्मल वैल्यू से. If bicarb goes from 24 to 23, CO2 will come from 40 to 39. If bicarb goes from 24 to 24 less, CO2 will go from 40 to 36. If bicarb is 10, that means 14 less, then the CO2 will be 40 minus 14, that is 30, that is 26. So the fourth clinical pearl is, in metabolic changes, in metabolic acidosis and even in alkalosis, the CO2 changes by 1 for every 1 change in bicarb. Now again a poll on Zoom. The question is in front of you already. The pH is 7.32. हाँ, 4 questions हैं. pH is 7.32. Bicarbonate is 18. PCO2 is 35. पहला question acidemia है कि alkalemia है? Start polling. Start voting. Start voting. The questions are in front of you. पहली चीज pH 7.32 है, एसिडोटिक है कि अल्कलोटिक है? चलो, एक तो आया, दो आए, पांच आए, छह आए, आठ, 11, 13, 14, pH is 7.32, bicarb is 18, PCO2 is 35. First question, is it acidemia or is it alkalemia? Obviously, pH is less than 7.32, it is acidemia. No confusion for that. What is the primary disorder? Bicarbonate is 18. 18 means less than 24. It is more towards metabolic. So it is a primarily metabolic disorder. Then what is the expected CO2? We have two formulas for expected CO2. First formula says that CO2 should be around the last two digits of pH. That means कि pH is 7.32, CO2 should be around 32. 32, 33 चलेगी. So this 35 is more or less okay. If we apply Winter's formula, the easier one, the bicarbonate is 18. 18 मतलब 24 में से 6 कम. So CO2 should be 40 में से 6 कम. That means 35 के आसपास PCO2 है. That is ठीक. So is it adequately compensated? Yes, it is adequately compensated. एक बार फिर से रिवाइज करूं. तब तक मेरे 21 पोल भी आ गए हैं, 25 हो गए. तो अगेन pH is acidemic. अच्छा, इसके बाद ही जाएगा. नहीं रुक जाए, ठीक है. 25, ठीक है, बंद किया मैंने. ठीक है, तो pH 7.32 है, एसिडीमिया है. pH लेस देन 7.4. बाइकार्बोनेट 18 है, मेटाबॉलिक है. बाइकार्बोनेट इज इन द डायरेक्शन ऑफ pH. PCO2 इज 35, इट शुड बी 32. 7.32, 32, 35, एक दो का फर्क है, थोड़ा सा इसके हिसाब से कम है. CO2 should be 34. Why 34? Bicarbonate is 24 minus 6, that is 18. CO2 should be 40 minus 6 is equal to 34. So this question we sorted. Last step. इसमें समझाना ज़्यादा है, पोल एक ही है. So far we have done 5 steps. Acidemia, alkalemia. What is the primary disorder? Whichever one is in the direction of pH. If it is respiratory, then it is acute or chronic. For metabolic acidosis, is the compensation adequate or not? We check that. Is it a high anion gap metabolic acidosis? अब ये थोड़ा सा और हम एक step further गए. How? Now we have seen it is metabolic acidosis. We have seen the compensation and all. But metabolic acidosis are of two types. Metabolic acidosis is because of two causes. Either some acid is going in the body or bicarbonate is lost from the body. There can be only two reasons. Either acid is getting added or alkali is getting removed. If it is addition of acid, then it could be intrinsic acid like lactic acid, diabetic ketoacidosis, or it could be some kind of toxin like glycol or salicylate and all those things. If it is loss of bicarb, then it could be from the GI or it could be renal. Again, metabolic acidosis can be because of two reasons only. Either you add acid in body or you lose bicarbonate from body. If you are adding acid, it could be intrinsic like lactic acid in sepsis, or it could be a toxin, salicylate poisoning and all those things, mud piles. If it is loss of bicarbonate, then it is either from GI or it is from kidneys. On the basis of these two causes, metabolic acidosis can be of two types. It could be high anion gap or low anion gap. And what is anion gap? We have discussed this in last webinar, but I still thought maybe I should explain it a little more. Our body is obsessed with two things. First one is electroneutrality. It will fight for everything to maintain the electroneutral balance. Like OCD people, कि जितने cation हैं उतने anion होने ही चाहिए. Now, how many cations are there in the body and how many anions are there? जितने भी हों बराबर होने चाहिए. Second thing, it is obsessed with pH that we have seen. It tries to compensate its best. So the number of cations and number of anions is equal at all times. Now, how many anions and cations are there? Cations are sodium, potassium, magnesium, calcium, and so many other things in very small quantities. But the major cation is sodium. What are the major anions? The chloride, the bicarbonate, and so many others like phosphate, sulfate, albumin, and other negatively charged proteins and other organic anions. So many anions. But जितने भी इधर होंगे उतने उधर भी होंगे. The number of cations and anions is same at any given time. It has to be, whatever happens. What is the normal values of all these things? Cations are sodium 140, chloride approximately 105, bicarbonate 24. But there is a difference between the numbers. This number is unmeasured anions, very small anions like phosphate, like sulfate, like albumin. These are in a very small quantity, approximately 10 to 12, which adds to this equation to make it equal. So the difference between the cations and anions is called the anion gap. Anion gap is nothing but the number of unmeasured anions. That is, it should be 140 minus 104 plus 24, that is 12. The normal value of anion gap is 12. The unmeasured anions are what? Albumin, phosphate, sulfate, and others. This unmeasured anion, that is the difference of sodium and chloride plus bicarbonate, is called as anion gap. Now, depending on that, the acidosis can be of two types: the high anion gap acidosis and normal anion gap acidosis. So what happens if an extra acid is added to the body? What happens? Let's say this H plus anion acid is coming and it is added to this bucket of anions. What will happen? This acid will break into H plus and anion. The anion will go into the anion pool and it will become unmeasured anion, and the H plus will be quickly absorbed by bicarbonate. But the bicarbonates will be exhausted doing this process. So what will happen? The chloride will remain more or less same, the bicarbonate will decrease, and the anion gap is added with the unmeasured acid, unmeasured anion, that will increase. Again, if an extrinsic acid is added to this mixture, what will happen? The acid will break into H plus and anion. The H plus will be taken by bicarbonate, so bicarbonate will become less. It will be exhausted. H plus plus HCO3, H2CO3, and the anion will go to the anion pool, unmeasured anion pool, and it will increase to more than 12. It will become something like 18, right? So this kind of acidosis, where an extrinsic acid is added, is increased anion gap acidosis. The causes are, again, mud piles, that is a lot of, I mean, you can find it on internet, a lot of toxins, this uremia and all those things, I forgot hippuric acid and everything. Most important is lactic acidosis, that is intrinsic acid. Again, diabetic ketoacids add to metabolic acidosis, and all these are high anion gap acidosis. If anion gap is more than 12, then there is some unmeasured anion added to the thing, and which could be lactic acid, which could be keto acid, and all these causes mud piles, hippuric acid and ethylene glycol and other alcohols and salicylate and all these things. High anion gap acidosis has more than 12 anion gap, and it is because of increased unmeasured anions. Non-anion gap acidosis or a normal anion gap acidosis, where the anion gap is normal or less than 12. It can be because of two things. One is if you are losing bicarbonate, or other is hyperchloremic. Hyperchloremic is very common because we people, we like to give normal saline too much. Most of the patients NS laga de. Most of the patients in OTs and in ICUs and in wards, they keep getting liters and liters of normal saline for a long time. I won't go into the physiology, but the added chloride load causes non-anion gap acidosis. Similarly, if anion gap is normal, then it could be because of loss of bicarbonate also. You can lose bicarb in two ways, from the GI, from the kidney. Non-anion gap acidosis because of loss of bicarbonate, either from the GIT or from the kidneys. Now your GIT is basically divided into two portions via the pancreas. The things above the pancreas are H-ion rich or acidemic. The things below the bicarbonate, the stomach are the bicarbonate rich and alkalemic. The pancreas puts in lots of alkaline material in the gut to save it from the acidic gastric juice. So if your patient is losing bicarbonate from lower gut, then he will have metabolic acidosis, that too of a non-anion gap type. This can occur in diarrhea, fistula, and drain. This is important for anesthesiologists because if your patient for laparotomy or any other surgery, he has come with a history of diarrhea for last 2-3 days, or if he has some kind of fistula is in fistula or a drain in place, then he is losing a lot of his GI fluid, which is bicarbonate rich. He will have acidosis, and his acidosis will be non-anion gap type. You can lose bicarbonate through kidneys also. One thing is called as renal tubular acidosis and other is hyperaldosteronism. Let's not go there. But you can differentiate between the two via the history. If he has a history of diarrhea, fistula or drains, then his non-anion gap acidosis is obviously because of loss of bicarb through GI. If he doesn't have a history, then you should look for renal causes. Now, one more thing about GI losses. If the GI loss is from the lower GI, then it will cause acidosis and a loss of bicarbonate. If the GI loss is from the upper GI, if your patient has come for a laparotomy with a history of lot of vomiting, then what is he losing? He is losing H-ions, he will have acid alkalosis, and he is losing a lot of chloride. So he will have hypochloremia and he will have alkalosis. If your patient is losing from lower GI, then he will have acidosis, that to a non-anion gap type. So just a single word about metabolic alkalosis. We have talked so far about acidosis only because that is the primary killer. But metabolic alkalosis can be because of three main causes: hypovolemia, contraction alkalosis, hypokalemia, and hypochloremia. If these three things are present along with the metabolic alkalosis, then your patient will respond to normal saline. Just give him a lot of normal saline and everything will be okay. If a patient has vomited a lot or something like that, then normal saline is very much indicated. Otherwise, there are not many indications for normal saline. Again, let's revise. Upper GI loss will cause alkalosis, metabolic alkalosis. This will be responsive to normal saline. These three kinds of alkalosis, especially with hypovolemia, hypokalemia, and hypochloremia, are chloride responsive metabolic alkalosis. Let's leave the unresponsive ones. So again, a poll. This is the last one. I assure you, this is a patient who is 40-year-old diabetic with UTI, fever, disorientation. His sodium is 135. You can read all the screen. Please launch the poll, last one. Now, again, we will solve it in the same steps. Is he having acidemia or alkalemia? I'll wait. First question. pH is 7.23. Is it acidemic or alkalemic? Second question, what is the primary disorder? Is the CO2 going towards acidosis, or is the bicarbonate going towards acidosis? How many questions are there? 5. Take your time. I'll wait for this one. Seven votes. pH is 7.23. Is it acidemic? Is it alkalemic? If it was more than 7.4, it will be alkalemic. If it is very less. It is 7.23. It should be more like acidemic. Okay, what about primary disorder? Where is the CO2? Where is the bicarbonate? CO2 is 25, more towards alkalosis. Bicarbonate more towards acidosis. pH acidosis, bicarb acidosis. This is more of a metabolic acidosis. The primary disorder is metabolic acidosis. Is it adequately compensated? That I will have to see. How do we see compensation in metabolic acidosis? Compensation in metabolic acidosis can be seen in 2 ways. pH is 7.23. PCO2 is 25. PCO2 is almost equal to last 2 digits of pH. 21 have pulled, so good. PCO2 is almost equal to the last 2 digits of pH. It looks like adequately compensated. There is another way. Bicarbonate is 12. That is 12 less than 24. That is CO2 should also be 12 less than 40. 40 में से 12 जाएगा, कितना बचेगा? 27, 28, right? So PCO2 is more or less in the range. So again, it is kind of compensated. Now the question is more about anion gap. What is the anion gap here? Anion gap is 135 minus 111, right? So 22 have voted. I will close the voting now in 30 seconds. Please vote within 30 seconds or I'll close. 23. That is a very good response. 25, 26. And actually 70-80% answers are correct. So that is a good thing. 27 have voted. Now I'm ending the poll. Can I share the results? Let me see. I can share the results. Attendees are now viewing the poll results. Okay, attendees can view the poll results now. Chaliye. Next slide. So pH is 7.23. It is acidemic, no confusion. PCO2, it is metabolic. Why metabolic? Bicarbonate is in the direction of pH. Compensation is adequate. Why it is adequate? Because PCO2 is equal to last 2 digits. Anion gap is 24. Anion gap is 24. It should have been 12. So it is high anion gap acidosis. It correlates with the history. The patient was a diabetic with all those problems. So it correlates with history. It is diabetic ketoacidosis, which is a high anion gap acidosis. We can go further into this, but right now I won't, in bicarbonate gap and delta gap. Let's leave it there. Now this is not a poll. I could not make a poll out of that, but let's solve it here only. There is an asthmatic. He is admitted with a very severe breathing difficulty. His pH is 7.24, bicarbonate is 26, PCO2 is 65. Let's see. The pH is acidemic or alkalemic? It is acidemic, less than 7.4. Bicarbonate is in the direction of alkalemia, PCO2 is in direction of acidemia. So it is respiratory acidosis. Primary cause is respiratory. Bicarbonate is risen only 2 for 20. Let's see. PCO2 40 से 65 गया. That means 10, 10 and 5 का rise. For every 10 rise in CO2, in acute condition, bicarbonate should rise by 1. So PCO2 यदि 40 to 50 होता, तो bicarbonate 24 to 25 होता. PCO2 40 to 60 गया, बाइकार्बोनेट 24 से 26 गया, तो दिस इज एन अक्यूट चेंज। अगर क्रॉनिक होता तो क्या होता, क्रॉनिक में वो 4 से इंक्रीज होता, मतलब PCO2 40 से 50 जाता तो बाइकार्बोनेट 24 से 28 जाता, और PCO2 यदि 40 से 60 जाता तो बाइकार्बोनेट 24 से 32 जाता। So this is more of a acute picture. If it was chronic, then bicarbonate would have been around 32, right? It is partially compensated. Why? Because there is still a lot of acidosis and the changes just begun. This is an acute respiratory acidosis. Obviously, status asthmaticus का बच्चा है, and it is partially compensated. Now another question. This is the last question, or probably the last slide. The pH is 7.23. The bicarb is 10, PCO2 is 25, sodium 131, potassium 6.6, chloride 98, intestinal obstruction and oliguria. Again, we will solve it just like we won't get intimidated by the history or the potassium of Che or the oliguria or the intestinal obstruction. We will sort it out just like we have learned so far. First step, pH is 7.23. Is it acidemic or alkalemic? It is acidemic. So it is acidemia. PCO2 is towards alkalosis side. Bicarbonate is towards acidosis side. So it is metabolic acidosis, right? Compensation. Is it adequate or not? कैसे देखेंगे adequate or not? In metabolic acidosis, how will we see if the compensation is adequate or not? One way is to check the PCO2 should be equal to last 2 digits of pH, which it is. Another way is to check PCO2 and bicarb. The bicarb is decreased from 24 to 10. It is decreased by 14. The CO2 is decreased from 40 to 25. It is again decreased by approximately 15. So compensation is adequate. Let's check the anion gap. Anion gap is how much? 98 plus 10, 100, and anion gap is 22. Again, it goes with the history. It is high anion gap acidosis, right? Last one, I guess. pH is 7.55, more than 7.4. Alkalotic pH. PCO2 50, more towards acidosis. Bicarbonate 36, more towards alkalosis. So it is metabolic alkalosis. Primary disorder is metabolic. Sodium 130, metabolic alkalosis है, हाँ. Metabolic alkalosis and acidosis, they both behave the same way. The PCO2 and bicarbonate changes 1:1. Bicarbonate is 36. It is how much more than 24? 24 plus 10, 34 plus 2, 36. So it is 12 more than normal. The CO2 is 10 more than normal. They are more or less in the same range. So compensation is again almost adequate. This is metabolic alkalosis, which is kind of adequately compensated. One more thing you will see here, that sodium is low, potassium is low, chloride is low. These kind of patients, they come to our OTs. They are old case of CCF on diuretics. Sometimes they are disoriented because of hyponatremia. This is again a metabolic alkalosis, which is probably because of diuretic use. So this ends my presentation here.